Okay. Hi, guys. It's another installment of just information that we're going over in the classroom. We are completing a 2-week study of 3D shapes, and we'll continue to do that. The 3D shapes are a little bit more intense than the 2D shapes, but there are 4 3D shapes that we cover in kindergarten. The first is the sphere. I always call it a circle, but then we let them touch it and hold it and feel it and understand that it is not flat like the circle, that it is like a ball. And the shape properties for a sphere, it has 0 faces, 0 vertices or 0 points, and 0 edges. And what we like to do with the edges, and I can show you this with my phone. We take their hand and run it over. If they feel like a sharp or an actual side, straight side, or even a curved side, that edge that it kind of just stops and starts, that's an edge. So when we run our hand over the sphere, it's rounded. There are no edges to it. So a sphere has 0 faces. Faces are flat parts of the shape, 0 edges, and 0 vertices or points. The next one we do, they love this one, the cone. The cone has 1 vertex. It has 1 circle face. That's the flat part of the shape. And it has 1 round edge. And we take their hand and just run it down. They feel that rounded edge. It's where the shape kind of stops. The next is a cylinder. It has 2 flat circle faces. On those circle faces, they have 2 round edges, and it has 0 vertices, so no points on this cylinder. It's kind of rounded in the middle. Then the last is the cube, and what I've done with this is I've just put numbers on the side so it gets kind of crazy when they're counting faces. So we decided that it's just like a die or a dice when you're playing a board game, and it has 6 faces, 6 square faces. And then we count vertices on this, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4. Count them on the bottom. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 vertices. Then you have to go with the edges, and that's the kind of stopping points of the cube, and it has 12 edges. Now, here comes the more complicated part than just learning about the shapes and the shape properties. We have this entire grading period, and we've still got 2 more weeks left in it, I think. Yeah. 2 more weeks left in it. We are comparing and contrasting everything in the classroom. We're comparing and contrasting characters, similar stories, people, and we are in math comparing and contrasting shapes. When we did the assessment for the 2D shapes, it got a little more difficult because our intent was to see if they could write their ideas. They have it verbally. About 97% of the class verbally had the ability to compare and contrast to 2D shapes. But because we're getting them ready for 1st grade and we're stepping up the rigor, and we want them to be able to take that verbiage, the verbals that they're giving us, and putting it into written word. It seems like it would be easy, but it gets a little complicated. I saw a lot of people repeating the same thing over and over again, just filling up the entire page with the same shape property. And then some just didn't even know where to begin. So something that I would ask that you try to do at home when they are comparing and contrasting, have them take what they've said and write it in that sentence. You said this, that's your plan, now write it. So let's compare and contrast the cube with the cylinder. When we are comparing, we're telling how they are alike. So with the cube and the cylinder, they could say that they both are 3D shapes. Something else that is the same about the cube and the cylinder is that they both have faces. The cube has faces, It has 6 of them. They're square, and the cylinder has 2 faces. They're faces, they just happen to be different shaped faces. And they both have edges. The cube has straight edges. The cylinder has round edges. So technically I just contrasted as well. So now how are they different? Well, the cube has 6 square faces, but the cylinder has 2 circle faces. The cube has 8 vertices, but the cylinder has 0 vertices, and the cube has 12 straight edges, and the cylinder has 2 round edges. So that was what they would need to be able to write in just written form. And then I can do this next one. This one will be a little bit harder because you have your sphere and you have your cone. What's the same? Well, basically they're both 3D shapes. From there it gets a little hairy because, I mean, this is kind of rounded, but it doesn't have any rounded edges. It doesn't have any circle faces. Basically, they're both 3D shapes. When you can get more specific when you go into the contrasting. The cone has 1 vertex and the sphere has 0 vertices. The cone has 1 circle face. The sphere has no faces. The cone has 1 round edge and the sphere has no edges. So that's just kind of basically a quick rundown of what we're doing in the classroom. And these next few weeks, we're really going to be reviewing the end of year benchmark or assessment that's coming up. It's going to have lots of numbers in it, being able to add and subtract numbers fluently, being able to do a story problem. So I will be reading the story problem to them if they need me to, and they solving it, and deciding whether it's an addition problem or subtraction problem, being able to show that with drawings, with number sentence, writing it, what exactly what they're doing. So being able to explain themselves. If you can explain it, then you truly, truly know it. Missing add-ins, we've been practicing a lot with that. I'll do number talks and then we'll discuss some of the strategies to figure out missing add-ins. That's going to be on the end of grade test. And then the reading assessments are coming up too. I've been doing a lot of progress monitoring. I had some really happy surprises where kids are reading above what we have been reading in our guided reading group, which is awesome. And then I had some kind of like, disappointing moments where we've worked so hard and they've done so well in guided reading, but then when it comes to them being able to read a book that they've never seen before, they're not using their strategies. They're looking at me as a strategy. And just to go over some of the strategies that we use in guided reading, if you come to a word that you don't know, first thing you do, check the picture. The picture it has tons of clues for you to figure out that unknown word. Next thing would be to go and check the beginning sound of that word. Then kind of cross-check. Get your mouth ready for that beginning sound. Look in the picture. What begins with that sound? That's a strategy. If it happens to be a longer word, we do something called chunking. And that is when you find little words or little parts of words inside bigger words. And let me pull up a smart notebook so that I can show you. Screen share. Okay, so if the word was excuse the handwriting because I'm writing with the mouse. Okay, so we're going to take this word. This the first thing that, they've checked their picture, they've checked their beginning sound, and they've cross-checked using the beginning sound to find something in the picture that begins with that sound. If that doesn't work, then they immediately jump into chunking, and they're looking for parts. They can look for little small words within the word they know. They can also look for parts. So we've worked on blends. We've worked on endings. ING is an ending we use a lot in the classroom. So they see that and go, oh, that's ing, ING, ing. So they already see one part that they know. Then they're going to go back up here and go, oh, SP, that's the sp, because we worked on blends. I know that sp. So they get their mouth ready and go sp, r. Oh, that can all go together. Spr, ing. Oh, it's spring. And then they always are encouraged to go back and read and check and see if the guess that they've made makes sense in that sentence. Sometimes they just kind of start at the beginning and don't look all the way through the word, and it just doesn't match what's on the page, and it doesn't match the story at all. Let's see. Another one that we had today in the books that they had a little bit of trouble. Okay, this word. Like I said, sorry about the handwriting. Okay, so here's the word. They come to it, they have absolutely no idea. So they're going to check the picture. They don't see anything in the picture. Go back, check the beginning sound, get their mouth ready for that beginning sound, then go back and check the picture, cross-check. Still doesn't help them. Then they're going to attack and attack that word and find little pieces inside that they do know, chunking. And we write our morning message up every day so that the kids know which encore we're going to. So art happens to be one of our encore, and the kids are really good about pulling out that word art inside of words, and they're like, oh, that's art. So now they're going to come back up here and go, oh yeah, we did that as a blend. Art, start. And so they've chunked and put it together. That's one of the big things that I'm seeing them not trust themselves to do. Other than that, the sight words, really keep pushing that. I've got some kids that we're working on second grade sight words. They're on my third list. Honestly, didn't think they would get that far, so it's exciting that they have. Just because they have learned those sight words, don't forget to keep practicing those at home too. The old ones. I'm noticing that the word said is tripping up some of our kids. That was like something in the first week. Another word that I noticed was tricky to them. The word with gets them. And went and want, being able to look at those two and understand when it's went and when it's want. So they have to look through the entire word. Away is another one. So like day, if they know day, then they can do away, may, say, lay. And was. I see them stretching that word was and going, well, as, was. And I'm like, does that sound right? So just keep practicing those sight words. I think that's going to make a big difference. Beginning of May, I think within that first week of May, they're going to have our 2 reading specialists start pulling the kids. They're going to start with the higher level readers first, so that the kids that still haven't made grade level will still get a little bit more instruction before they're assessed. My higher level readers, don't think that I've given up on them. We are challenging them every day. Today they blew me away on level G's, and it was absolutely no problem. So I threw out a couple of eyes out there like, huh, can you handle that? Oh yeah, they read that no problem too. So let's really push for those higher level readers to really give me some good comprehension, being able to answer those questions that they may not necessarily find in the text. Things about the character, how the character was feeling, why the character did what they did in the story. So those are things that we need those higher level readers to be able to do, and to read the questions on their own and write a sentence answering that question. We struggled with that probably about a month ago, but I am seeing huge growth for them to be able to read the question and actually answer the question and not something totally different. As always, any questions or concerns or suggestions you may have, please contact me. That's what I'm here for. We've only got probably about 40 some, maybe 50 days. I don't know if our countdown is right. So your kids are almost first graders. So just keep up the hard work, keep the communication open. And I am going to put out there that I am tutoring this summer. I already have 3 kids in the classroom that parents want me to continue working with them this summer. And it's not necessarily someone that's below grade level. It's just to keep that learning going. If you're interested, just send me an email, call me, let me know. I do my tutoring usually at the public library. I live in Randleman, so I don't know if anybody wants to drive there. It's more North Asheboro than it is Randleman. And I think I am going to be driving to the YMCA and tutoring a child there. But just let me know. That's what I'm here for. That's it. Y'all have a good day.